I had an extra finger when I was born.
Gross. Right there?
Right here, yep.
Oh my god.
I had like a little, didn't have a bone in it, but it was like a little flap of skin.
Did they just chop it off?
Yep.
How do you know it wasn't a penis?
Have you ever seen somebody grow a penis on their hand?
Yes. If you had a tail?
Edward Penis Hands. Hello and welcome back to Bardicaggravation, or 2 if it's your first time. I'm Kent. That's Brandon. That's Rick. I'm so bored of saying that.
We don't have to. Other somebody
We'll
said.
do it.
People.
Come on.
Yeah, I need new names. Who wants to sit here? Raise your hand. Today we're doing something a little different. A little differently.
Yes.
We usually compare the classes to D&D. One day we're going to run out of that material. So we're going to do some different stuff. So we're still talking about DC20. We have been talking, you've heard us say about how customizable this game system is. You can customize your class, clearly. You can customize your weapon. You can customize your armor. And you can customize your race.
What?
Ancestry, species, whatever the hell you want to call it. Nobody
That's
cares.
crazy talk. That's crazy.
So, yeah, you know, every other game, if you decide you're going to play an elf, okay, this is what you get as an elf. You're going to play a dwarf, this is what you get as a dwarf. Not in this game. You get a menu of options. You get a menu of dwarf options, and you build a dwarf, like Build-A-Bear.
What?
Oh, I want to build a bear.
Well, you can, because one of the ancestries races in DC20 is, for all of you furry lovers
Ooh.
that love to play the animal people, the turtles and the elephant people and the...
You don't like that?
You know,
You're an 80s kid.
I'm not 8 years old. So for the people that want to fulfill that fetish, here's one blanket thing called the Beastborn. Beastborn is a very huge menu of different traits you can take to build whatever furry you want to. You can be a wolf man, you can be a skunk girl, you can be a turtle boy, you can be a elephant lady.
I like it.
All kinds of stuff. And to illustrate this, we're going to build each our own Beastborn so you can see what the possibilities are. We're not even going to scratch the surface, but we're also going to each do a dwarf, and we're going to each do a Fiendborn, a tiefling. So just so you can see how different you can make these things while still staying within the parameters of, you know. And if you want a custom ancestry, one that you just making up yourself, you can spend your trait points. You get 5 trait points when you choose your ancestry to spend wherever you want to. Some traits cost 2 points, some cost 1.
Some cost negative, some cost 0.
Yeah, you'll see all that. The 0 ones you just get for free. Everybody gets it. It's like their one trait that every elf gets.
Taking it.
But yeah, you can instead take 4 points and then pick any trait from any race you want to and build your race that way. You decide what it looks like. You decide what it smells like. You decide what it sounds like. You decide. It's great. Again, just more customization to make your character feel like your unique character that's going to be unlike anybody else's. I know they say that with other ones. Oh, you pick your subclass and you can each play a ranger and it'll all be so different.
No.
Not like it is here. Not like it is here, Brandon.
Not like it is here. I think we should start off with a dwarf.
Dwarf. Who wants to go first?
I will.
Go ahead. Let's hear about your very special dwarf.
So like you said, you get 5
That's
trait
10.
5 trait points. Now, all dwarfs get their 0 trait called Iron Stomach, which means basically they can't have any effects from eating or drinking liquids or food. So you can't like be
Starve to
poisoned.
death.
So you can drink to your heart's desire and you'll never get sick. So I still have 5 trait points to spend. So then I chose something called the Tough. It makes you tough. That gives me +1 HP, which is big when we first start out. Okay. Then I took something for 2 points.
Yes.
Now, so I took one for 1 point. So now I have 4 points. I took another thing for 2 points called Stubborn, because I am stubborn in my ways.
That's a positive trait.
Yes.
People don't like that. People don't like being stubborn people.
Dwarves are all stubborn,
You're
though,
like an old
right?
boomer.
This is a dwarven thing.
I have advantage against being taunted. So, fuck you if you're trying to like goat me into fighting you.
Goat you?
Goat you.
How do you goat somebody?
I'm gonna throw a goat at you.
I'm gonna throw a goat. I have advantages on saves that against me being forcibly moved.
Or
So,
removed.
removed from an establishment or moved from a space. Like if somebody's trying to grapple me and take me away, I have advantage against
Like
that.
if you're at a bar and it's closing time and they're like, it's time to go, you're like,
No, I'm going to drink. I spent 3 of my trait points, so I still have 2 trait points left, right?
yeah.
2. I'm going to spend 1 point for natural combatant. And what that gives me is expertise and heavy armor and shields. That's 4 trait points. For my 5th and last trait point, I took trade expertise. That increases my mastery cap.
Haggling.
My mastery cap to my trade expertise, as well as increasing my mastery level in 1 skill. And I would choose that.
And
or
one
I'm
trade.
sorry, 1 trade. My bad. 1 trade. And that would be my brewer trade, because I'm awesome at brewing beer.
So instead of being a novice at brewing, you're an adept. This is what we're talking about. So you go 1 level higher in a trade.
Correct.
And trades can be useful in this game.
Yes, they can. Yeah.
In fact, you're getting if you're a bard, there's not a skill called performance. You need to take the entertainer trade, and then you can roll that to do all of your performance stuff.
Same thing with rogue. You have to take lockpicking,
Right.
like a locksmith, so
Yeah,
you're able to
lockpicking.
open locks.
So trades
with a
actually
trade.
mean something in this game. You're welcome.
So I'm the best dwarven barkeeper who used to be an adventurer, but now I just want to brew beer and make beer for everybody and make people happy.
So for my dwarf, my dwarf,
You're a dwarf.
I made one.
Yep.
I get the iron stomach like we all do, of course. I took physically sturdy. Physically sturdy. Check me out.
This is what it means.
It took 2 points to get this. I have advantage on saves against impaired, deafened, and even being petrified.
So yeah,
Yeah.
no Medusa is going to be a problem for you.
No one is going to stop me. And I also took, another point, thick skin. So whereas you took heavy armor,
Yeah.
I am not going to use heavy armor. So I get an extra +1 to my physical defense for not taking heavy armor.
Okay.
So if you played a barbarian or a monk, you'd have a pretty good physical defense with no armor.
It would definitely improve that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, stacking those together.
Yeah, because you already get the
That's genius. I hate to say that it's you, but it's genius. The last one I took because of overlap, I took stubborn, so I had advantage like you did against
didn't
being
take stubborn.
taunted. You didn't take that either? Or forcibly moved. So I'm kind of like a jerk like you, dwarf-like, I guess. They kind of are stubborn, it seems like.
Your
So-
2 are. Mine's very amenable.
I'm stubborn, but I do have thick skin, so I don't have to wear the heavy armor. And I'm impervious to like being deafened and petrified and all those fun things. So I'm just a little bit stouter than everyone else, but I'm gonna totally drink his beer.
My dwarf is dwarfy in the aspect of he's really into the earth and the stone stuff. He'd be like your miner, your stone crafter, your rock head guy. So I got a really cool thing called minor tremor sense. So yes, I have tremor sense, where it's within 3 spaces, and if something's invisible or trying to creep up, I can feel it. I can feel you. I feel
Even if
you
you're
walking.
what if you're tiptoeing?
I can still feel you. If you're touching the same surface I'm standing on, I can feel you. And if you don't announce yourself right now, I'm going to sick one of these 2 on you.
So even if you're invisible,
I am, because now I can feel you walking. Tremor sense.
I'm taking glide speed then. You.
I don't care. And then to go with that, I have earthen knowledge, which is why I have tremor sense. So I'm a dwarf and I know everything about the earth. So I have advantage on survival and nature checks when I'm either in the mountainous region or if I'm in some tunnels underground or a dungeon. So that's where my skills really shine, because I'm a dwarf. I can do all that stuff, stone rocky stuff.
how many does that take? Is that all of yours?
1 for tremor sense, 1 for earth and knowledge. I also took tough, because you do have to overlap. So they both have
Yes.
stubborn. We both have tough, because it's a dwarf. They're tough. They're stubborn. Not mine. Mine's not stubborn. But he's tough. Plus 1 hit point. So I'm hard to kill because I'm so tough. Another trait you can get, and I just took it because they didn't take it. It's a toxic fortitude. So that means that poison doesn't scare me. I don't care about snakes and spiders and Brandon. So I have resistance to poison, and I have advantage on any saving throws having to do with poison, being poisoned. So
Nice.
yeah, I can be the official food taster and wine taster because it won't bother me.
So if I'm foraging in the forest and I grab a mushroom, I'm like, here, eat this.
I could eat it. I could eat the berries. I could try them all. And if, worst gonna happen, I'll get a little diarrhea and I can be like, don't eat that. That'll probably kill you.
So 3 different dwarves that all feel very dwarvy,
That's the key. They all feel very dwarvy.
right?
See how they didn't veer off from dwarf
No.
No, they all have their own
yet?
unique traits.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna do Fiendborns, your tieflings. Let's see how different a tiefling can be in the world of DC20.
All Fiendborns gain a 0-point trait called Light's Bane. So around us, we can just snuff out light. It takes the action point in battle, but obviously if you're out of battle, you're not going to spend action points. You're just going to snuff out lights.
Any non-magical light within how many spaces?
5.
Within 5 spaces, if you're having a little sexy time with your special friend, and they say, it's too bright in here, and you can just, that's sexy. It's the clapper. Lights on, lights off, lights on, lights off. The clapper. That's you.
The Light's Bane.
You have that. Yeah, that light's bane.
As a fiend, you get to pick a type of elemental energy that you use for all your type of spells and things. I went with corrosion.
This is your fiendish origin.
Your fiendish origin is
Depending
that what
on
it's
the
called?
type of fiend that you were
Burst
from, you have your own special damage.
So I went with corrosion. So I'm going to be
Acidy.
a very acidy fiend. One of my points, first one off the top, dark vision, because everybody, weirdly enough, doesn't get dark vision as a fiend. Wow. Then I took superior dark vision to make it even better. So instead of being 10, 20 spaces.
5 times
So,
20
Your
is
first
100
dark
feet.
vision is 10 spaces.
So it's 50 feet.
Superior dark vision boosts that up to 20.
100 feet.
Then I took fiendish aura, which gives me the sorcery cantrip, which is very much like thaumaturgy. Your voice gets loud, your eyes flare, whatever kind of flare you want to do with that, but you have to use the type of elemental damagey thing you picked. So corrosion, I don't know how corrosion would look as a intimidator. Maybe my eyes would just bleed with acid, burn with acid. Does it kind of smoke a little
It could
bit?
be smoky. It could be
Maybe green smoke
think
or
of
something?
like trippy acid from the '60s. So maybe it's
Oh.
like a, your eyes start turning in all like tie-dye colors and they get trippy. So it's like an acid trip, like you're in Wonderland and you're
Alice in
trying to.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
I added the intimidator. So once per combat, I take an intimidate as a minor action. So I'm going to use
cost
my, instead of using a full action, I'm going to intimidate people around me with my corrosive personality. And then my last point, I'm going to use my charming gaze, and I'm going to just spend an action point. Anybody within 10 spaces of me that I choose has to make a save, or they're charmed for a minute.
So that's handy. So you can either intimidate or charm, depending on who
Back
you're
and
dealing
forth,
with, what mood
right?
you're in.
Right?
great.
Or
Here you go.
So
nice balance.
I'm going to give myself some horns too. I don't know, because fiends have to have horns.
You don't have to spend anything for that.
Well, that's my fiend.
So my fiend,
Oh.
my tiefling. I hate that word
Don't say
tiefling. I'm not
tiefling,
calling
it's
it
a
a
fiend.
tiefling.
Fiend. I like
Stupid.
Fiendborn.
I went with just to show you the typical fire. Fire is his thing. I would always choose lightning, but lightning is not an option for a fiend in this game.
Why?
I'm sure you could do it if you wanted to, but so
Oh.
I just chose fire. He's your typical straight from hell, right off the cookie cutter. For 2 points right off the bat, I have fiendish resistance, and what that gives you is it just gives you resistance to your own type of thing. So I have resistance to fire. Just across the board, nothing to do, no action points to spend. I'm just always, so half damage from fire until the day I die. Probably not from fire. This is a big one, only costs 1 point, but mana increase. So I get +1 mana. Mana is, I would say, it's the most rare resource you have in the game because
Yeah.
I think it's the only one that only comes back on a long rest. The other ones, there's plenty of ways to replenish them, but mana. So I would be some kind of spellcaster, obviously, or at least a hybrid, because if I'm going to increase my mana, I better be able to cast spells, or what a waste. So yeah, if everybody has 4 mana, I have 5. They got 3, I have 4. They got 10, I have 1,000.
That's not how that works.
Shut up. So then there's Fiendish Magic, which basically you get a spell for free. This costs 2 points. So even if you're just a martial, and let's say I'm playing a barbarian demon, I can still take this and I get 1 spell I can cast. So yeah, you can pick 1 spell of your choice. It's got to be destruction or enchantment.
I'm assuming
So-
it's going to be fire.
Well, I took Returning Shock.
What?
What?
So that's a lightning spell. It's destruction. So when somebody hits you, they get a face full of lightning usually, but they're getting fire from me because I had to change it to fire.
Hellish
So
Rebuke.
it's like Hellish Rebuke, yeah. Somebody hits me,
Yes.
and now they got to think twice if they're going to hit me again because it's like touching the stove, right? If you touch the stove again after it burns you, I don't know what to do with you. And you can cast that spell, again, with your mana points. So if you're a spellcaster, you cast it all you want to as long as you have mana points. But once per long rest, you can cast a spell at 1 mana point cost lower. So this spell that I took for now, it only costs 1 mana point. So it cost me 0.
Freebie.
Once per long rest. So it's a free spell. That's my guy. Magic based. Magic based. Mine is more because it's 2 points for the resistance, 2 points for the spell that I get, and 1 point for the mana point increase. As my 5 points spent, plus I still have the light bane, I can sexy out the candles. So your guy was the Intimidator and the Charmer.
Intimidator.
My guy is the little more magic-y, fire-based. And what's your loser?
I'm glad you asked.
Me too.
Oh,
He's not a loser,
Well-
but he is part of the goth crowd. So I guess you would call him a loser from the outside.
He looks like a little edgelord wannabe.
Yeah.
Little emo.
Emo. He's got dark circles around his eyes. Mm-hmm. You know.
He stole his mommy's mascara.
My fiendish origin is gonna go umbral. He's gonna be all about the death and the necrotic kind of feel to everything.
Wow, that's nice of you to take a
surprise.
departure from your normal,
yeah, normally he
that you normally do.
does Umbral.
I love death.
I don't know if you want to
It's
say.
a fiend. It's a goddamn fiend.
And he blasphemed. It's a goddamn fiend.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah. I took a glide speed for 2 points. I can make it look like I'm a ghost.
Oh, okay.
So if I wear a black trench coat that covers my feet.
Please finish that sentence before.
No, I can make it look like I'm gliding, so I can be even more scary looking and just glide. You don't even see my feet like up and down. I can move horizontally my speed.
Is it like a magical hover that you get, or you have to, fall off of something and glide?
Or do you
No,
just
it's-
jump
it's a-
up?
To
it's a
catch the
magical
wind like
hover.
a kite.
No, I can magically hover. I can move.
I guess you
I
can
have
flavor
movement.
it that way.
I have movement. I have horizontal movement up to my speed.
So you don't have wings or anything? Or
No,
armpit?
I just kind of I'm naturally lighter. Also, I can do controlled falling, where I don't take any damage, and then so there's that too. I don't understand
adds to it.
how
That
works.
helps.
What's controlled falling?
Oh my God.
Is that
Gliding?
Like,
It's
is that
like gliding.
Falling down? Is that just gliding?
It's gliding.
If you fall off of something, you can glide, so therefore it's like a fucking hang glider. You can control your fall. But you wouldn't just, would you? Because you can glide. No? Wow. Help us out, please.
I thought it was more like gliding, like I'm gliding across the surface, almost like ice skates.
You ever see a flying squirrel?
Yeah,
That's what that is.
I don't want to be a flying squirrel though.
That's what gliding means. It's the first step. It's baby's first step toward flying.
You're a
Okay,
dark
I
squirrel.
would never
You're
use.
a dark
I
squirrel.
would never use that. Then.
You're dark.
I would only ever be able
He
to.
thought he was Hoverboy. I get it.
Let's move on from the glide speed because I obviously didn't quite understand that.
So you're regretting your purchase now? You would not take a glide
No, I
speed?
would because I want to be Hoverboy. I spent a point on something called Infernal Bravery, which means I have advantage against being intimidated. So I'm just naturally brave.
So you can't intimidate him.
No,
I can though.
but you can't though.
You have advantage. That's all.
I do.
Doesn't mean I can't do it.
You should be afraid of me. I also took Intimidate.
Oh my! What?
Yes, I had to step
Now
on
I
your
am
toes.
scared of fruit.
Yeah,
Oh my
you
God.
should be.
Scared of it.
Once per combat, I can, as a minor action, intimidate somebody. So I can't be intimidated, but I can intimidate you. So that was a point to do the intimidate thing. And my final point, I took silver tongued, which means once per long rest, I have advantage on influence checks.
Okay.
So I can say, go away. I can influence you to go away. But yeah, that's my fiend.
You're a silver-tongued devil.
Yep.
That's, that whole
Silver-tongued
saying.
devil.
And you, so you can intimidate, or you can influence.
Yep.
He can intimidate or charm.
Similar.
So
It's very similar.
you guys are like influential in different ways as a fiend. You can get people to do stuff that you want them to do.
I'm sexy and dark.
You're sexy and you know it. But yeah, as Rick said about the dwarves, these all feel very fiendish, demon-born type people, but with different little things that set them apart from each other.
Different little quirks.
Yeah. Fun.
Well, let's do one more, shall we?
We're going to show you the Beastborn. All the different things you can make out of this so that everybody can know that your furries are safe. They're safe with us. What did you make, Brandon? What kind of...
I chose to make the Kung Fu Panda.
What does he look like?
Well, he's about.
Does he look like an actual panda on two legs?
Yes.
Not human really at all?
He's bipedal.
Is he a walking, talking panda?
Yes.
Is he literally Kung Fu Panda?
Yes.
Wow.
Kung Fu Panda.
So you're playing at the kiddies table with the kids.
Listen, Kung Fu Panda is a really awesome movie, and you should watch it as an adult.
Doesn't matter.
It's funny. It's
You're
great.
playing a game when you're a walking, talking panda bear.
My panda bear is awesome. He's funny. He's encouraging.
Does he get any abilities from being a panda?
He likes bamboo. But we'll start off by the first thing I bought with my trait points is I spent 1 point in keen sense. I have advantage on my awareness check when it comes to choosing either hearing, sight, or hearing, sight, or smell.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing.
What did you
So
choose? You have to pick one of those?
You can choose one. I would probably go with smell because he liked food.
So what are you thinking? This guy's gonna be like a monk or a fighter?
I would probably
Very-
flavor him as like a monk.
Okay.
Because he'd have to do the panda stance. That looks like Wonder Woman.
It's a panda, big panda paws. And I also took 2 points and gave myself fast reflex.
That was
Which
my
means-
suggestion.
Which means I actually took it before you suggested it, but thank you. I have advantage. I have advantage on initiative checks,
Yes.
as well as advantage on my first attack in combat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what's that? And it kind of goes along with my like kung fu pandaness, like fast. And then I also took 2 points in something called. I bought something called charge, which means I can take 2 spaces to run up to something and attack it and do +1 damage on it.
Adding those together already is like a combo by itself.
What?
The fast reflexes and the charge
Yes. So if I did that
together
as my first attack,
Yeah.
then boom, it's awesome.
Maybe you just do a belly bop.
Pretty sure I could as the Kung Fu Panda.
That would be
You
awesome.
could as Brandon.
So that's 5 points, but I didn't feel like that was enough.
Oh, because he's greedy.
I didn't feel like I well-rounded my Kung Fu Panda. I felt like
More.
there was more
I need
to be
more.
offered. So I'm gonna make him short-legged, which means that's gonna give me a -1.
He's a panda-ette.
If you've seen the cartoon though, he is short-legged.
He is short-legged, so that's gonna decrease his movement by 1 space. So now instead of like a standard 5 space, he's gonna have 4 space. I'm also going to make him reckless, so he's gonna just be. He thinks he's awesome, but he's not. So when he goes reckless,
That's a good choice for you because the dice hate him. So he has a justification for why. Because I'm reckless. That's why I roll 2s and 3s.
so that's gonna be another -1. So it's gonna give me
the dice.
an extra 2 points to spend in something. But with reckless,
So he got -2 there. So now he has 2 more points to spend. See how that works?
but with my reckless, that brings my physical defense down by 1 because I'm reckless. I'm not all like paying attention, and I'm being like, so it opens myself up to basically being hit. And I'm gonna take something called camouflage.
Ooh.
Now, rules as written says I can change, like my skin can change like to like a chameleon. It can change colors. I wouldn't do that with him. What I would do though is a second caveat. If I remain motionless, I give myself advantage on stealth checks.
Oh, sort of like E.T. sitting with his stuffed animals
If I don't move, you can't see me.
in front of a bamboo stick.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my Kung Fu Panda. Beast form dude thing.
All right. I like it.
I really like it. It's fun for me, and especially taking the negatives to take another trait point or another thing that you can do.
It's an interesting way to do it.
Well, you took short-legged, so
Yeah, you
-1 movement, and you took
Reckless.
ADHD, so that you have -1 physical defense.
Yep. To give myself as advantage on stealth
Just to
checks.
give yourself camouflage? Mm-hmm. All right, how would you make?
So my beast born or beast kind, we all get beast kind. That's our 0 free trait. You can talk to creatures that are like you. So you'd be talking to other little pandas. I would be talking to fishes. You can kind of speak with them a little bit, but you can watch their gestures and figure out what they're saying.
It's beast from your origin.
Yes.
So maybe any kind of bear.
I would
right?
say any why not?
Yeah.
Even a raccoon, because a raccoon's part of the bear family. If you didn't know.
No, they're more dog. So I made a fish creature, and I was thinking straight up creature from the Black Lagoon. I took 1 point of water breathing.
Not the red lagoon.
Very easy. Water breathing.
Lagoon.
1 point. Are you going to talk under me the whole fucking time, you
Can't hear us.
bitches?
We're mumbling.
Yeah, we're talking under you.
1 point for water breathing, 1 point for swim speed.
That makes a lot of sense.
I need that,
Yeah.
right?
So that's 2 points gone.
2 points gone. So I wanted those 2 points back.
Well, you can't have them. You spent them. That's how it works.
I'm going to take sun sensitivity, which is -2, which gives me disadvantage on attacks in the sun and awareness checks.
Well, then I don't want you in my party. You'll be useless.
In the sun, though. I'm not always in the sun. Are you
What
always in
if
the
we
sun?
just schedule the
What do we
fights
do?
at night?
What do we have, sunlight
If somebody
schedule
attacks
fights?
us during the day, we're going to be like,
I
meet
have
us in
disadva-
6 hours and it's on.
So anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to take water breathing and swim speed, but I'm going to get those 2 points back by taking sun sensitivity, which gives me disadvantage on attacks in the sun and disadvantage on awareness checks. Now I can get rid of that advantage or that disadvantage by just spending an action point to give myself advantage. So don't think I can't take that away. I've thought about that.
Not on your awareness.
None of my awareness. Absolutely not. But I don't care. I don't need to be the most aware person.
Well, don't worry about that.
So now I have all my 5 points back, and I can already breathe and swim. So I'm going to take thick skin, which raises my PD, my physical defense, by 1.
We talked about that with the dwarves, sure.
Very much like that. But then I took 2 points into natural armor, which gives me a physical defense of 1 reduction. So I have I can't even get hurt really. If you hit me for 1, it's going to go away to nothing. So it takes 1 right off any
But if I hit you for 5, you are taking damage.
If you hit me for 5, it brings it down to 4.
Right,
It,
so
it
you
takes
are-
1 away.
Your statement of you can't really hurt me is completely false.
No, if you're...
It hurts less.
You can hurt him, but you can hurt him a little
I'm
less.
thinking if I'm haunting like a village or a town, because that's the type of creature I am. I'm just going to hang out in the swamp, and I'm going to come up and just...
Oh, you can be with his Fiendborn. He can pretend to be a ghost, and you can haunt the town with him. You guys are two little...
Yes.
There you go.
I'll be the water haunter, and he'll be the town
I can be in a
boy.
party with those two. Just not the fish panda.
So I got my physical reduction, and my PD goes up 1 because of those 2 things.
Physical damage.
My physical damage.
Defense.
PD means physical defense. I also took a prehensile tail. So when I'm swimming, I thought that tail would work, plus I can grab things with it. The last thing, since I have 1 more point left, since I was thinking of making this person into a fighter. He's not a magic user, this guy is a grabber, a grappler. So I took hazardous hide, a grappler.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one, isn't it?
That's
What is that?
So my hide is spiky and poisonous. So if I go up and grapple you, as I'm holding you, just holding you does 1 point of damage to you every round. Just holding
Or
you.
if somebody grapples
Or
you.
if someone tries to grab me.
Oh, wow.
So my thing is going to be all about grabbing people, like the creature in the Black Lagoon would just grab and just pull you in close and just do more damage as I'm doing grapple maneuvers.
What kind of... You get to pick the damage on that.
Yeah, I went with poison. I thought poison would be very cool for this guy. Maybe a poison fish.
I think it's a really cool build, dude.
Right? I mean, come on. I'm like a creature from the Black Lagoon. Legitimately, I could swim in the water, breathe it. I'm just feeling this thing. I thought Beastkind was going to be stupid, but I actually want to play this character. I don't know why.
I mean, you can make that. You can just make that.
Fun.
Yeah. What about your Beastborn?
Yeah, what's the last Beastborn in our little Beastborn group?
What I wanted to show people was... Because one of the races... Yes, races.
Ancestry.
Shut your face.
Ancestries.
You're so politically correct, it's sickening.
Oh,
So
we're
one of my
fucking horrible.
favorites is the Dampier, the vampire, the mini vampire from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. And if you guys have played it, I played it. It's a lot of fun. So I was like, they don't have that in DC20. And I didn't really look at the Beastborn thing because, again, furries aren't for me. I prejudged, and I was wrong because I was like, oh, I can do this and make a fucking Dampier.
Can you write that down? He admitted he was wrong.
As far as his beastkin, because Rick said you could talk to whatever your origin thing is. Well, he's a Dampier, so I would probably just go with bat. That if he can talk to bats, he can understand their body language and they can understand him. Either bat or wolf, but wolf's for your wolfkin. Bat, Dampier. The first thing I took, because this is one of the best parts of that, spider climb. It's only 1 point.
Only
Seems
1
kinda cheap
point?
to me for spider climb.
Yeah.
So I can walk up walls and on ceilings, no action, not spending nothing. Well, it's an action, it's a movement, but
1 point. Wow.
I'm not spending anything to do that whenever I want to. Then I took dark vision because it makes sense. Every single race in D&D has dark vision now, so what's the point of it? It's just. But in DC20, no, you want it, you gotta buy it, spend one of your valuable points on it, and if it's worth it to you. So I was like, it makes sense for a damn you see in the dark, it's creatures of the night. So it's only out to 10 spaces. I didn't take any superior dark vision, and then I took natural weapon. That's a point.
So we're up to 3.
So mine are my fangs, obviously. So he's got fangs, and they do 1 piercing damage because they're natural weapons. You can use maneuvers with your natural weapons as any kind of Beastborn. So if you took the natural weapon thing, your tail or your thing, your tail's not a weapon, right?
No, it just can pick up things. It can't hold a weapon.
So yeah, I can do any of the maneuvers that I know. So I can do power attack where it does one more, so 2 damage for that vampire bite, which is a lot in DC20. I took Prowler, which is you have advantage on stealth checks in darkness, because of course it's a vampire, and that's what they do.
Very sneaky.
Sneaky, looking around for victims. I took a -1.
Ooh, he did it.
But this is already kind of a secret, but I talked about this with the DM, so this is kind of a custom one. So I have to feed every 24 hours to gain any rest points.
Oh.
While everybody else can sleep, take a rest, I can't. So I have to feed. I have to find a victim and feed on humanoid blood, every 24 hours, or I don't get any rest points. I don't get rest points. I don't get hit points, health points back, and start to get exhausted.
But feeding doesn't mean killing for you.
No, it doesn't mean killing. You don't have to kill. Just have to do this.
What about
make this
panda
attack.
blood?
So you can, any humanoid.
Okay, so
Any
make sure
humanoid.
you could feed on Brandon.
So that gives me 1 more point. And I was stuck on this one because I could either make my natural weapons retractable so that you can disguise them. So I could just, that classic vampire, click, the teeth go in. Or I could take give my natural weapon a passive weapon style, something they just have. So if I chose the style of its fist, but obviously it's not fist, it's the fangs, but you get +1 damage when you have somebody grappled, or anybody that's grappled. They can be grappled by you, and I can still bite them and get the +1 damage on that.
So what'd you go with? The retractable?
What would you? I was going to ask you guys. What would you suggest?
I like the retractable. I think it's just pretty cool. And it wouldn't even be for me. I wouldn't do 2 fangs. I'd be like a whole vampire mouth thing, like an it. Like, and then you're biting people just...
What would you take?
I would also go with retractable, and this is only because if you want to try to blend in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. In Drew's campaign, he's gonna be a stickler for all that stuff,
Yes.
which I like. So he would be like, "What are you doing to hide your fangs? What are you doing to hide your fangs?" So if I could just retract them, it would make my life easier. But if I wanted to do more damage, I would take the +1 damage when you're grappled. So
Is there something you would want to take another negative?
no. But you could take sunlight sensitivity, which would make perfect sense for a vampire, and then get both of those things I just mentioned.
Right.
Retractable fangs and +1 on somebody who's grappled. So I'm going to go with the retractable fangs, just to be practical for now. But just so you guys know what you can do. But there you go. There's your damper. Spider climb, natural weapon, the fang, +1 piercing damage. I can dark vision. I can see 10 spaces, and I can advantage on stealth in any kind of darkness. Children of the night.
This is wonderful. I love this system because it's so unique. Every single build we made was super unique.
We made 3 completely different species, races, ancestries. Completely different.
Everything.
Wild.
I didn't even pick a class yet, and I've already got my Beastborn character.
Yeah.
He's already a full-fledged thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
What this whole game system does, and especially with this stuff, you can create, everybody talks about, I want my character to be so unique, such as, everybody loves to create their characters, and some people just sit around and create characters for D&D and never play the game. But you can make any custom character you want, and then add your class onto it and all that other stuff. Somebody would have to really try hard to copy your character for there to be any other character like yours.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, if that doesn't excite you, keep playing D&D. We don't know what to do for you.
Say what you would make. What kind of Beastborn would you make?
Yeah, you give us some suggestions of stuff. Let your inner freak flag fly, or outer. Who cares? But yeah, if you want to get the game, the PDF, we'll put a link down below. Grab the PDF. It's beta 8 right now.
Yeah.
But You'll get all the subsequent updates for free once you purchase the one big PDF. It's a big PDF. It's not like you're getting a little newsletter.
No,
It's
no,
like
it's
you're getting
220
a rules book.
pages. It's huge.
It's the same size as any other, tabletop role-playing game guide. If you want to see us do some role-playing, improv stuff that you can learn yourself, we'll leave some videos for that at the end of this thing, which is right now. Bye!